वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुवैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Yesterday gave you homework. How many of you remember the homework? Why do we pray if God knows everything? भगवान तो सब जानते हैं. Then why do we have to go and pray to God? To sing His glory. To sing His glory. Do people really go and sing His glory? Om Jai Jagadish Hare Swami Jai Jagadish Hare Sukh aane ghar sampati aane Om Jai Jagadish says they are glorifying God but Sukh sampati ghar aane. So it's not bad. I'm not saying denigrate of it. Although God knows everything, when you express to Krishna, it makes you aware that you are not the boss. You are just a tiny, infinitesimal being that is being controlled by the material nature. So this acceptance that मैं सब कुछ नहीं हूँ. So there many times the problems are magnified because we think I am the problem solver. And the buck stops at me. Who is in anxiety on a ship? The captain. Because the buck stops at him. He has to make that crucial call. So when we think we are the captain of the ship, then we get into anxiety. मुझे decide करना सब कुछ. But when we know I am not the captain of my ship, I am a instrument of the real captain who is God. मैं भगवान का एक निमित्त हूँ. And like any employee, any staff on the ship, they go and confide in the captain. It's not that the captain does not know, but when they report, he understands, okay, this is something that they are not able to handle. And also that, so those who pray, they are accepting God's dominion, control over them, which now removes that bhuja. Therefore they say, do your best, leave the rest to God. Everything is not in your control. Because many times we are trying to control our life, but when we pray regularly, we understand God is actually in the control. मैं ईश्वर नहीं हूँ, मैं एक उनका पुत्र हूँ, उनका पुत्री हूँ. So that is one aspect. It removes our controller mentality when we pray. Can you pray when you think you are the boss? You can only pray, submit to somebody when. Therefore they say, to be able to hear, read, if you have ahankar, ego, you can't really be a student. तो आपको लग रहा है मेरे को तो सब पता है. दुर्योधन था, रावण था, so many people were trying to guide him. तुमको लगा तुम कौन है बता रहा है? So that's one thing. Another is, so act of praying naturally removes the main issue that comes in life because of our controlling tendency. कितने इश्यू घर में होते हैं क्योंकि हर व्यक्ति होता है मेरे चीजें मेरे हिसाब से होना चाहिए. They say that people say husband is the head of the family, therefore he should be taking all the calls because I am the head. But then I heard a quote said, yes, husband is the head of the family, but wife is the neck of the family. The head cannot do anything without the support of the neck. इसका अटका the neck कभी-कभी. You can't move your head if you have a neck spasm. So both are trying to say मेरी चलनी चाहिए. लेकिन जब ये जानते हैं कि भगवान चला रहे हैं, हम उनके हिसाब से चलाना चाहिए. Sometimes, in army, is ना event rope. आजकल movies भी बनते हैं कि कोई he became a rogue. Rogue means he is not following the protocols. जो बताया था उसके हिसाब से वो अपने मन से कर रहा है. Then he is no more, kept in service. He is either court-martialed or something. Therefore, the reason why we need to pray is to remove the aspect of control and to understand He is Swami, O Palanhare. He is the one who is maintaining everything. I am thinking I am maintaining, but I am not. I am just supplying. In fact, even that, I am just an instrument, I am a conduit, a vehicle through which I am able to support. So that's the reason. Also, just to make your own mind clear what is your main priority. Because when you write something, all the clutter that's going on gets cleared because you write it down. So the 3-day what we took on the first day about our inner architecture, how our inner world functions, about the mind, how do we manage the mind, the buddhi, the commander of our ship, the ahankar, the rank that which we assume or narrate to ourselves, the false ego, and Atma, the true person who is experiencing life, who is being subjected to all these different experiences. The acronym was yoga. How can we reconnect with God? First of all, we took does God exist? And we gave some reasonings to yoke and to connect. We gave 3 rational proofs about that. And one of which is that God is there in our heart as the Paramatma. And therefore, to be connect yoginam api sarvesham madgate nantaratma. Shraddhavan yo bhajati yo mohma same yukta tavo mata. Krishna says that one who connects to me in love, in bhakti, he is most intimately connected to me. We open our secrets not at workplace, not at the club, but those whom we love, and more than that, those whom we trust. जिसको प्रेम करते हो, जिसको ट्रस्ट करते हैं, उसको हम खोलते हैं. Nowadays, one of the main places where people are opening their hearts is ChatGPT. उनको लग रहा है ये कहीं नहीं जाने वाला, बट सब कुछ जा रहा है. It is gathering all the data. Today we are going to take about karma. Yoga is just connecting to God, and karma is how do we live in this world so that we don't get entangled. Ultimately, we attain moksha. That's how karma works. And why do good people face adversities, difficulties? Can we change our destiny? How many of you think we cannot change our destiny? जो कुछ भी है यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है. आप कितना भी प्रयास करो, अगर नसीब में नहीं है तो नहीं मिलने वाला. One of my friends used to stay in Kolkata, Bengal area, became a devotee, and when he was a little child, there was not enough clothes to wear, so he used to wear all these torn clothes. Later, after he came to ISKCON, he learned all the puja vidhis and everything, scriptures. So on a mission he was sent to US, and then he was sent to one temple in California. He was staying there as a pujari, and eventually got married. And then, when his children were little grown up, one day he was shocked because they were wearing the same type of torn clothes that he used to wear in his childhood. आजकल फैशन है ना, फटा हुआ कपड़ा पहनने का. So he was saying कि हमारे खानदान में भी के नसीब में ही है कि फटा हुआ कपड़ा पहनना पड़ेगा. So its destiny is quite a powerful force. But is it all in all? And because destiny में है, तो फिर प्रयास क्यों करना चाहिए? होना है तो हो जाएगा. प्रमोशन मिलना है तो मिल जाएगा. ऐसा कोई सोचता है? सोचने वालों को क्या होगा? वो सोचते ही रहेगा. ये भी इस ग्रीक वर्ल्ड बच्चों को गीता सिखाएंगे. What's your name? Arav. Sweet name. So Arav hears the theory of destiny and tells his mama, मम्मा मैं कल से स्कूल नहीं जाने वाला, क्योंकि अगर डिग्री मिलना है तो मिल जाएगा. डेस्टिनी है. Sometimes this theory of destiny makes us responsible नहीं ले रहे, becoming lazy, कि भगवान ही सब कुछ करेंगे. There was 2 saints in Vrindavan, and as they were walking, they were discussing this topic. कि भगवान ही सब कुछ करते हैं, everything is easy, and it's not a leaf. सुना होगा ना, एक पत्ता भी भगवान की इच्छा के बिना हिलता नहीं है. So discussing like this, and suddenly an elephant came running towards them. One of the saints immediately ran and jumped on a tree, climbed on a tree, and he protected himself. The other saint, he kept on chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. He didn't move. कि भगवान ही सब कुछ करा रहे हैं, अगर हाथी मुझे मारने वाला है तो मारेगा. My duty is to remember God. And fortunately, the elephant, it didn't attack him, it moved on. So then this saint who was climbing a tree, he came down. And this saint who was stand still there, he said कि भगवान के ऊपर विश्वास नहीं है कि क्या भाग के उधर जाके खड़े हो गए. You should have faith in God. So then this other sadhu, he said that why should I trouble God when I can save myself? I am becoming a devotee of God to serve Him. मुझे भगवान पे विश्वास है, लेकिन भगवान ने अगर सब कुछ योजना में दिया, you know that story, there was one guy who was drowning in a flood, people came to help him, so भगवान बचाया. Ultimately वो डूब गया. फिर भगवान को पूछा, अरे भगवान आपने बचाए नहीं? So I sent you so many ways. So what God already has given us, when we use our intelligence or things, it's not that we are not depending on God. That understanding is there, and with that understanding भगवान ने एक चीज दिया है ताकि मैं उनकी सेवा कर सकूं. The theory of bhakti, philosophy of bhakti is that God, we are supposed to serve Him, not test Him. देखते हैं भगवान बचाएंगे क्या. हमारा ड्यूटी है कि उनकी सेवा करना, और उनकी सेवा में जो कुछ भी हमसे हो सका है वो करना चाहिए. Therefore, to do our duties diligently, like Arjuna, is bhakti, and to depend helplessly like Draupadi is also bhakti. Diligence and dependence, दोनों साथ में होना चाहिए. We are diligent at our work, at the same time understanding ultimately Krishna is the real controller. मैं करने से कुछ मिलने वाला नहीं. And when we understand this, the emotional heaviness that happens because of things not going our way, life will always appear unfair. Life for no one, although theory of karma is about fairness. जैसी करनी वैसी भरनी. As you sow, so shall you reap. And what is the Upanishadic statement about it? Yata bhavati. Katha Upanishad, this line comes almost similar. As you sow, so shall you reap. And although theory of karma is about fairness, in any particular section of life, if you just take a particular section, it will always look that मैं ज़्यादा काम कर रहा हूँ लेकिन बेनिफिट और किसी को मिल रहा है, क्रेडिट और किसी को मिल रहा है. Somebody, I am studying more, but somebody else who is not studying more is getting more marks. So therefore, karma is not fate, not destiny, not a punishment. It is like Newton's third law. So karma means Kriya means to act, every action generates a corresponding reaction. And the universe is a perfect balanced ledger of cause and effect. Okay? There is no way you can escape the laws of karma. Sometimes you can escape the laws of government, taxes or something, or some traffic signal. But laws of karma, they have 12 witnesses. Whatever we do, there are 12 witnesses. Sun, moon, Yama, and ultimately Paramatma. तो आप छुप नहीं सकते कहीं पे. So therefore, the first way to understand is the Newton's third law. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. But this is applied at the level of consciousness. Newton's third law is about matter, motion. But karma is about emotion, is about the experience of life that we get. Is applied to the consciousness. Once a child was asked, maybe someone like Ara or even smaller, do you know the 3 laws? And he said, yes. The first law is that be in the bed as long as you have to be in the bed. Inertia. And second law is, as per the force of the mother's voice, you respond. The momentum means as per the mother's voice. And if mother is too strong, then you react, then you get up. There is a third law. So for every action that physically, verbally and mentally, man, vak or dhan, we call this as the BMW. BMW is a very expensive car, but we all have BMW. Body, mind and words. What we do with our BMW? Do we blame, mourn and wail, or are we blissful for the opportunity that we have got? We can be blaming, अरे मुझे 90% ही आया, और 10% टीचर ने खा लिया, नहीं दिया. Or you can be blissful. So this is the first aspect in which karma works. That karma is something like an echo. When you speak, then you hear that. अगर आप जो बोल रहे हैं उसको feedback नहीं मिला, if you don't hear, did you know what you are speaking? So therefore, when you get what you do, then you understand, oh, this is how it works. So it's almost like third law of Newton. And karma is not लिखा हुआ है. Part of it is karma is an accumulated choices. The way we have been choosing life, that becomes our destiny. If you take a child inside a room and then there is a chocolate bar there and then there is a book there, what will the child do? Eat the chocolate or read the book? Eat the chocolate most probably, right? Are you predicting the future? You are not predicting the future, you know the nature of the child. Therefore, astrology, all this is not future prediction, it is nature prediction. Based on the choices you have taken, then you can predict, you can extrapolate. इसके मोमेंटम से ये कौन से पोजीशन में रहेगा जीवन में, that you can मुझ से जैसे बच्चे माता पिता बोलते रहते हैं, अच्छा पढ़ाई करेगा तो तुम्हारा लाइफ अच्छा सेट होगा, पढ़ाई अच्छा नहीं करेगा. Most of the times that's true, sometimes it's not true. Like somebody said, those who sit on the first bench of this classroom, they get salaries, they get salaried employees. Those on the second bench, they become business owners who work under whom the first benches are employed. Those who are third benchers, they become politicians. And those who are the last bench, they become the dons, who control all the others. Unfortunately, it's like that, but karma is an accumulated choice. So our present is a result of all the past choices, not just in this life. Problem happens when people think, अरे ये बच्चे को ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है, इसने क्या गलती की है, ये जीवन में तो नहीं किया है, बट द पास्ट लाइफ का जो मोमेंटम है, जो एक्यूमुलेशन है, that will result. Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra, when he asked Krishna, why did I have to suffer the loss of 100 children? 100 मेरे बच्चे मेरे सामने बन गए. If our children have even little pain, parents have struggled. All those people, they pass away. You have seen some child passing before the parents. It's very painful. What was become 100 children passing in front of Gandhari and Dhritarashtra. So Krishna asked, Dhritarashtra asked Krishna, because Krishna knows everything, past, present, and future. कि भगवान ऐसा तुझे मेरे साथ क्यों हुआ है? So Krishna said, 100 lives before, you had destroyed a nest with 100 eggs. And the mother and father of those birds lamented bitterly for the loss of their 100 eggs, their kids. So therefore, you have to go through that pain. Now, Dhritarashtra, why didn't you give me the suffering in the next life only? Next life you could have given, right? And then Krishna said, for you to have 100 children, you have to have so much punya, piety with you. So it took 100 lives of pious activities, pious life for you to have this blessing of having 100 children. And now that you have the 100 children, that reaction has come. Therefore, when something good is happening, don't be too happy. And when something bad is happening, don't be too morose. Matra sparshastu kaunteya शीतोष्ण सुख दुख आगम आपायनो नित्यस तामस्त्रिचस्सं भारत दुःखेषु अनुद्विग्नमनः सुखेषु विगतस्पृहा वीतराग भय क्रोध सिद्धिर्मुनिरुच्यते. That when misery is happening, coming, if you understand the karma aspect really, then you won't be blaming someone or other for our troubles. क्योंकि मैंने कुछ किया था इसके लिए ये हो रहा है, let me bear this. Therefore, karma is an accumulated choice. 100% of our present choices are freely made regardless of our karma. That whatever choices now we are making, उसका responsibility हम पे है. That just because you have been having past karma bad, it's an influence, but it's not a control. Your past does not control you. Your past only influences you, and it's our choice based on how your mind is. If you have controlled your mind, you can choose not to hear your impulses. Those who create violence and sexual abuse, they are not able to control their impulses and their mind. They just give it to them, they live compulsively. But those who have regulated their mind, they live consciously. So, same kind of situation, but one regulates, one restricts himself, and then just gives into that impulse, whether it be drugs or intoxication or anything. So choice is ours. You cannot say क्या करूं, जैसे बोलते हैं ना कि किसी को गम है तो पिएंगे, खुशी है तो पिएंगे, कुछ भी नहीं है तो भी पिएंगे. They make excuses, but it is them who are making the choice.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes.
So was it possible for Dhritarashtra to change his fate if he had made better choices, or if he had controlled, brought up his sons properly with that curse which was given by the gods 100 years back?
Good question. In the next slide, there are 3 types of karma. There I will answer this question. Good observation, question. Could Dhritarashtra dealt with his children in some other way? Yes. It's pertinent question. Can we change our test of the way we live? And karma spans lifetimes. It's not just one life affair. So, the 3 types of karma which will take one is called as Sanchita karma. Sanchita karma is like a bank account. Whatever you have earned, you keep it there. But difference between financial account and karmic account is that in financial account, if you deposit 5,000 rupees, it is there. If you withdraw 1,000 rupees, वो 5,000 से ही वो निकल जाता है. But with karmic account, if you do good, good का एक track है. If you do bad, उसका एक track है. The good does not cancel the bad. Good का आपको benefit मिलेगा, bad का आपको punishment मिलेगा. But in financial, you can cancel out each other. इसके लिए so same logic people apply in karmic principles. अरे मैंने बहुत झूठ बोला है, थोड़ा दान इत्यादि कर देता हूँ, दोनों, या मैं जाके गंगा में स्नान कर लूँगा, मेरे पाप धुल जाएंगे. It is not that easy unless you have a proper guidance of how to absolve our sins. So Sanchita karma is accumulated store. It is the total karma of all the past lives, like spiritual balance sheet. And to clear all this Sanchita karma, how many lifetimes we have been here? According to the scriptures, Anadi karma phali. Many thousands of lifetimes we have been here. And not just as a human, different life forms. How many life forms there are there? According to the Vedas, 84 lakh species, or 8.4 million species. So, and it's all a cycle from one species to the next, and none of them have karmic account because they all go by the instinct. They are not driven in a particular. Only human beings have this special intelligence to make a choice. कभी देखा है गाय बोलेगी घास खा खा के बोर हो गया हूँ, मुझे आज पिज्जा दो. या शेर बोलेगी कभी कि मांस खा खा के अभी मैं थोड़ा दिन वेजिटेरियन बनना चाहती हूँ. The animals, they are not programmed to eat the same thing again and again and live the same way. But in this cycle, only one junction, which is human life, where we can either get out or we can continue. And how do we get out? By taking the help of Krishna, by taking to the path of Dharma, the Bhagwat Gita. This is संचित कर्म जो किया है वो repository है. And from that repository, based on the current or situation, is something called as prarabdha karma. Not all the sanchita karma affects us immediately. There is conscious thoughts and there is subconscious thoughts. Subconscious में बहुत कुछ है, but consciously जो है, they are all prarabdha, what that which is manifesting. It's something like you sow a plant, seeds are there, वो अंदर है, लेकिन at a particular time they start to come out, fructify. So prarabdha karma is based on the sanchita karma, those things that are currently active. Which is like if you release an arrow, once you do an action, prarabdha karma is we are receiving the reaction of all those actions. In a hotel example, there is a lot of items in the kitchen. But once you place an order, and then order goes through you, then you have to receive that order. Very rarely you can get it cancelled. So it's like an arrow that is released. Once you take a flight, एक बार फ्लाइट में बैठ गए, उसके बाद बोलेंगे अभी मेरे को नहीं जाना. No sir. You reach Delhi from Mumbai and then you can take another flight to come back to Mumbai. Mid-flight you cannot say, bye अभी मेरे को, because you have chosen that act and now you are getting the reaction. So when it comes to Dhritarashtra, he has done that action of killing those 100 kids. So he has to get the reaction. But how he raised his children, that is up to him. He raised his children in an evil way to want to become the king. He could have tried to have done that in another way, and still this reaction would have come because of that activity. Or would not have come if Krishna intervenes and Krishna absolves the sins. So as long as we are impulsively acting, we are bound to get our reactions. But the day we become conscious in our decisions, in our choices, especially aligned with dharma, then the karma has a way to get out. Till you are not aligning with dharma, there is no way your karma can relieve you. Hope you got the answer. So the portion of sanchita karma is currently in play. Seeds are already germinating. The kind of body, the kind of parents, intelligence, ये सब अभी प्रारब्ध कर्म है. Can we change our intelligence? Can we change our parents? We can refine our intelligence, upgrade, थोड़ा उसको utility बढ़ा सकते हैं. But whatever we have received, this currently we are experiencing is प्रारब्ध. ये हम बदल नहीं सकते, the form of it, but the feeling of it is up to us. Therefore, they said pain is compulsory, but suffering is optional. Pain is compulsory, but suffering is optional. Do you suffer because of the pain? और जैसे आपको किसी ने आपको 100 किलो का सोना दिया बैग, will it be painful to lift it? बोझा तो रहेगा, but you will be happy to lift that. But same thing, just some ordinary thing, say you उठा लो unnecessary. Then so because that doesn't have a purpose that is connected to it, benefit connected to it, you feel it as a boja. Often I see this in local trains. In Bombay local trains there is a concept called as half seat, 3.5 seats. 3 लोग ही बैठ सकते हो, लेकिन समूह एक आधा सीट कितने लोग ट्रैवल किए हाफ सीट में? सब ऑफ. So there is something called as half seat. And when you go and ask for that half seat, usually you say जगह किधर है? और कोई उनके कोई दोस्त आ गया तो तुरंत जगह बन जाता है. क्यों? क्योंकि दिल में जगह है. So when there is no an attitude, then although it is inconvenient, उसको inconvenient नहीं हो रहा था, आधा सीट लेकिन हो रहा है, but it is not a suffering for them. So how do you deal with प्रार्थना करना? Not by unnecessary cribbing. मुझे ये क्यों मिला है, ऐसा जीवन क्यों मिला है. Sometimes kids nowadays say कि मुझे पैदा ही क्यों किया है. मुझे अगर iPhone 17 Pro Max नहीं दे सकते तो पैदा क्यों किया. In Australia, some children have sued their parents that why have you given me birth? मुझे पूछा नहीं. Foolish. And one girl has sued the doctor who delivered her. You didn't take my consent. So how do you deal with what you have currently? भगवान ने आपको जो दिया है उसको यूज करो. Don't be upset with what is already with you. Cannot be avoided but can be transcended to the consciousness. Then another is called as आगामी कर्म, जो आने वाला है, जो आगे हमको मिलने वाला है. This is our future which we can change based on the present choices. You are sitting in the flight, that is your prarabdha. अभी बुक कर दिया है, उसमें बैठ गए तो आपका प्रारब्ध है कि आप दिल्ली पहुंचेंगे बॉम्बे से. लेकिन वो जब बैठे हैं, आप सो रहे हैं, खा रहे हैं, क्योंकि नेटवर्किंग कर रहे हैं, बुक पढ़ रहे हैं, that will depend once you land there what is the benefit that you are going to get. If you network with somebody who is going to get your business ahead, then your agami karma has changed because you not wasted your time during the prarabdha, you have used it properly. So making your choices is within your situation. In Bombay, 1 hour drive, you can max go to Andheri or say Bhagwat, somewhere. But if you choose to go to the airport within that 1 hour, then you can take a flight and get out. वही 1 घंटे में कोई इधर ही बॉम्बे में फंसा रह सकता है, वही 1 घंटे में कोई फ्लाइट पकड़ के उड़ भी सकता है. The choice is ours. What kind of choices we are making? Therefore, the seeds that you plant today, they will ripen in the future. Therefore, we have to choose what we do today, so that our future can be better, much fruitful. Agami karma. And this is where is the balance. Destiny is there based on the a series of karma that we have done. तो एक प्रकार का destiny. But at the same time, if we make the right choices, especially taking to Krishna, then the options are different. Fully in control, this is where yoga practice operates. So now comes our application. Why do good people suffer? Very famous. Why do bad things happen to good people? अच्छे लोगों के साथ बुरा क्यों होता है? कृष्ण says in the Gita, कोई अच्छा नहीं है, कोई बुरा नहीं. उनके कार्य अच्छे हैं तो उनको अच्छा स्थिति मिलेगी। उनका कार्य बुरे हैं तो उनको बुरा स्थिति मिलेगी। एक ही व्यक्ति दोनों करेगा तो दोनों का उसको भुगतना पड़ेगा। You will have the money, but you may not have the peace because of the karma that he is doing. So, why do good people suffer? One is, yes, currently they may be good, they may be making their life better through making conscious choices. But if their product from the past lives that is there, then because of that, पहले कभी तो 20 साल पहले you were having some intoxication or some drugs. Later you may change, come out of that habit. But if the damage is done enough, then it will react. It will come later in your life. So prarabdha karma. Second is that when good people suffer, it is a purification for a higher level of service that God is asking them to do. जैसे बच्चों को एग्जाम्स होता है ना, all of you have written exams. Does anyone like to write exams? No. Is it that parents, teacher want us to suffer? No. They want us to take us to the next step. I am sure in Navy, all of you are taught good level of swimming, right? You have to be good at swimming. Personally myself, I am a shallow swimmer. Shallow रहेगा तो बिंदा swim करूँगा. If I am told to go into the deep waters, then I can't swim because I didn't learn that. और जो shallow swimming कर रहा है, he is happy, but the teacher, she puts him into the deep waters और means अभी तुमको 2 मिनट में करना, 1 मिनट में करना है. That is not suffering. That is a way to test, to strengthen us. So therefore, God also He wants to upgrade, purify their hearts so that they can receive a higher level of experience. And Krishna says, that which may appear to be suffering in the beginning, poison in the beginning, will appear to be nectar in the end. Those of you who go to gym or yoga, you like it? After a while you may start to like it, but when you lift those, or when you do the sit-ups or push-ups, body starts to ache. और कोई बोलेगा अरे भाई क्यों अपने आप को इतना तकलीफ दे रहे हो, आराम से रहो ना. But that person, he will not be much useful for difficult tasks that will come. Therefore, suffering is a purification that happens so that we can face the adversities that will come later. Therefore, there is this very famous saying for the Navy: those who sweat in peace, what is the complete thing? Bleed less in war. You may feel, why do I have to sweat in? अभी तो कुछ युद्ध नहीं है, but just preparing. So suffering is a preparation, and of course connected, and especially if you are aligned with God's plan, it is a higher plan. Krishna is giving us a direction. No growth can happen without any pain. No pain, no gain. बोलते हैं सर, लेकिन जीवन में जब आती है तो बोलते हैं भाई क्यों ये पेन दे रहे? गेन देने के लिए पेन हो रहा है, और उसको take it sportively, adventurously, rather than creeping on about it. आपको जो experience हुआ है, like we have Sobhaya University in Bhagwat, maybe 10,000 students study there. K.J. Somaya, the founder of the university, he couldn't study beyond 6th grade because he was so poor कि 6 क्लास के आगे पढ़ने का इच्छा था, लेकिन पढ़ाई करने का पैसा ही नहीं है, परिवार को संभालना है, ये करना है. And that pain that he endured, when he became successful as a businessman, he opened a university. So that pain became a way he could serve society at a larger scale. Sindhutai Satpal, no, she gone through such pain, abuses from her husband and from the society. What did she do? She saw that pain as a God's higher plan, so that I can take care of all these girls who become shelterless or abused by their families. So there is God's higher plan when good people suffer. So it can be prarabdha karma or it can be a way of purification. And our definition of good is limited to one life. Before 2023, getting a software job was very good. Now it is doubtful whether a software job is good or not because of the AI revolution. So our definition of good keeps changing. हमको जो लगता है कि ये अच्छा है, वो तो सुना होगा ना आपने, that there was a family whose son got injured while taming horses, and everybody was feeling so sorrow कि उनका पैर टूट गया वो घोड़ों को सिखाने में, और एक तो घोड़ा भाग गया और उसका टांग टूट गया. तो फिर सो बैड दोनों एक आंख, एक तो घोड़ा इतना खरीदा है 3 लाख रुपए का, घोड़ा भी भाग गया, टांग भी टूट गया. And then in the country they announced a war, and all the youth in that village were recruited except this kid. And then everybody came and said, कितना अच्छा हुआ आपका बेटे का टांग टूट गया. The same thing that was seen as bad, now because of the same situation as good. So our definition of good is very limited, so very subjective. And we have the scriptures, Prahlad Maharaj story. Of Prahlad, his father was so abusive, trying to kill him. But Prahlad's response was not of vengeance, but of tolerance and forgiveness. He never felt he saw that he is a victim of anger. मेरे पिता जो है वो he is a man of God, but he has become victim of anger. Even Arjuna, in the beginning when he is complaining to Krishna about the Pandavas, what does Arjuna say? Dhritarashtrasya durbuddhe. He says the sons of Dhritarashtra, their buddhi has become corrupted. Durbuddhe. वो ये नहीं बोल रहे वो लोग गलत है, उनका माइंड जो है करप्ट हो. So same way, a saintly person, he never accuses others. He says he is already a victim. So, and because he is victimized, he is giving that punishment to me. Therefore, let me sympathize with him. Prahlad was sympathizing rather than becoming angry. And we are Draupadi. She was humiliated, but she chose to forgive them and of course save her family. But Krishna chose not to forgive them for what they did. Also, the top 10 maybe every person of a youth. He was a prisoner of war for 8 years, 7.5 years during the Vietnam time. And prisoners of war are not dealt nicely, although the agreement says they should be dealt nicely. Usually they are tortured a lot. But instead of all the torture, when he came out, he started to reflect that it is a philosophy of Christianity or Bible that gave him strength to bear what he was going through. So when good people suffer, their application of the scripture becomes more stronger. We come to the the modern research says about karma. 93% of the disease that is people are facing is because of the lifestyle and our mindset, not just genetics. Lifestyle diseases. 4 times greater resilience in trauma survivors. They face a trauma. They were able to survive better if they find a meaning in the adversity. और जो मुश्किली में there is a pretty famous book called as Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. So there he writes that those who had some purpose, he says that he observed that after Christmas, a lot of people were dying in these concentration camps of Hitler. Christmas, the mortality rate was less, but after Christmas, many people were dying. And he tried to analyze what is happening. Because somehow intrinsically they believe that Jesus is going to save us. By Christmas, we are going to get out of this. But when Christmas passed, then they lost their hope. Like Christmas came, Jesus. So now, and once they became hopeless, then their body could not bear all the torture that was happening. So when we have a purpose, recently they made this, that there is a proper sport, how much you can catch the weight. The 2 pillars, बड़े pillars है, उनको गिरने से बचाना है. Testing your bicep strength. And many could do, but the topper who could really bear those weights, pillar इतना मोटा pillars गिर रहे हैं, and with a chain he is trying to catch them and protect them, keep them in shape. So he was asked, क्या उसको कैसे hold कर पा रहे? So he said, I was visualizing that this is my kid, Manoj, who is drowning, and I have to save him. So I was not seeing this as a chain or a test, but I was seeing as a survivor. कि मेरे को मेरे बच्चे को बचाना. And because of that, he was giving that strength. So greater resilience when we have a purpose. कुछ purpose है तो pain सह सकते हैं. Purpose नहीं है तो then pain सहना मुश्किल पड़ता है. 70% of near-death experiences people have. Near-death experiences when you face a sudden accident or when you are in coma, almost like dying situation, you start to see your own self. So they reported not just what they have done, but what others have felt about what they have done. तो लोगों को कैसे लगा आपने जो किया? That also they 21 peer-reviewed documents on children with past life memories, Dr. Ian Stevenson का, तो कैसे बच्चे रहते हैं ना, most of the times people are able to remember their past lives, especially through hypnosis meditation. 40% reduction in post-trauma stress disorders who adopted a meaningful framework for their trauma, their trauma meaning. 3 times longer lifespan and low cardiac risk in people with a strong sense of purpose and joy. So this is all what research is seeing. So what is the take home? Take home is know the law of karma, and that awareness will bring us peace, not react. A is act without attachment, that Nishkama Karma Yoga, that don't think that you are the doer and everything you have to. So act without attachment, Nishkama Karma, Karmane Vadikarasti. Plus R stands for receive adversity wisely. When you experience some pain, see this as a way by which you can grow. You are denied something. Instead of crying about it, maybe God wants to do something better or improve myself better. So receive adversity wisely. M stands for you have to move towards the source. Ultimately, you have to get out of this cycle of karma by coming to Krishna. Sarva dharman parityajya mame kam shama. Come towards Krishna. Come to the connect to Krishna. As we move towards the source through our journeys, like say many movies they show na, there is a lot of attack happening, and somehow the hero is trying to guard him from all those attacks, from all these zombies. But ultimately no, he knows यहीं पे प्रोटेक्ट करते रहेगा तो कभी ना कभी तो zombie खा लेंगे वो. As he is attacking, I don't know any particular movie, but usually this is the concept. As he is facing all the enemies, he is moving towards a safe space, safe house, where he is safe. Where are we safe? At the lotus feet of Krishna. So that is bhakti, connect to Krishna, surrender to Krishna. And A stands for understand that you are Atma, you are a soul going through the experiences, and this body, this family, everything is not you. You are there for a purpose. Do that purpose beautifully, but anchor, attend to the needs of the Atma. Needs of the body we are attending, but attend to the needs of the soul. So therefore, daily I request you to observe yourself and how you are going through life, introspection. Am I acting out of ego or as a soul in this particular situation? Check your buddhi. Are you reacting or are you proactively taking your decisions? Are you responding? So daily yoga is not just physical, but make this intention when you go in front of the Lord in your homes. Offer your day, Krishna, this day is yours. Let me offer this day to you. And chant a mantra, one round of Maha Mantra. And take satsanga, take for sattvic input, sattvic food, sattvic videos. And daily karma is before actions. Again, saying it is offered to God. What instead of saying, why am I suffering? What is this teaching to me? How can I become a better person? And without any expectation, act for the benefit of the society. So now I want you to, so all this will take just 20 minutes, all these 3 activities. I can send you a chart also of this, what you need to do. Of course, regularly we will want to meet you. we would, then the conclusion of the Gita is that you may do your duties, but don't expect you will do your duties perfectly. You can never be a perfect mother, a captain, or anything. There will always be, but if you do it for Krishna, then Krishna is the one who will ultimately, take us into his shelter. And the most powerful way to connect to Krishna, take shelter of Krishna, is to chant his names. And we recommend chanting of this particular mantra of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare. So we would want you to experience this in meditation, this chanting in person today. Okay, our parents can distribute the mala and we will chant together for some time so that you actually experience purification of your heart, of your mind, and experience the stillness and connection. That which is out of the ground. This is called as the Guru Mani or Krishna Mani. So you have to chant start your mala right after that, right next to it, and hold it with not your pointing finger but with your middle finger. This is usually not used for Vedic rituals. So you hold like this and kind of slightly press. Because you got acupressure also. This particular nerve stimulates your parasympathetic system, so you become more peaceful. And as we chant the one mantra, we chant on one beat. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Then we go to the next. And in this way, we complete it. So we will. You can be as straight as possible, as relaxed as possible, and so you can focus on the chanting. So we will vary the speed of chanting. Sometimes we will chant slow, sometimes we will chant fast, the pace, so that the mind can focus. Sometimes something is monotonous, you tend to get bored or feel sleepy. That's when you don't have a pace. Yes. Pull the mala towards you. Chanting, when you Facebook or anything, when you scroll out of you. Your energy is going out. But when you do mala, you take it in. You do like this. Okay? Jai Shri Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So you can keep this mala with you if you wish to practice this meditation, this chanting with you. And Paresh who has brought this for setting up this session. Usually there is a fees, but he was kind of not sure how many will come and fees will be. So you want to support this program, you can give a token of support to him or here. Other than that, this message of the Bhagavad Gita that is there in this book needs a teacher to guide you through. So although in 3 sessions that we took, we kind of give you a gist of it, but for us to apply, we have to go shloka by shloka, section by section to understand all the nuances. Any science, mathematics, physics, it takes so many hours of study to be able to master it and apply it. So it has become spiritual, inner world, which cannot even see, our mind, which is so restless. So practice this chanting daily, and among you come and plan something so you can hear or learn the Bhagavad Gita. क्योंकि जीवन तो अभी आपका सेट हो चुका है, बट आपका जो आत्मा का जो दिशा है, where is it going? शास्त्र में बोलते हैं कि ब्रह्मांड भ्रमिते कौन भाग्यवान जीव. This our journey is compared to loitering, swimming in the Bhavasagar, in the ocean of material world. It's vast. So many lives we have taken. But this life, not physically, financially, or kind of set. So now focus some time to grow your inner connection to God through first taking the message of the Gita learning, through chanting Bhakti Yoga, doing whatever you do as an act of service to God. So I request you all, we won't have the courage to plan something in the future, but either you come to the temple or online, or some way you attend the Bhagavad Gita sessions, so you start to learn systematically. And with that, thank you very much for your time and patience. And as I said, if you want to keep the mala, please it's a small little gift from us. Hare Krishna. Any questions? People in person? Yes.
Sir, actually, yesterday during first half of your talk, I had 3 questions, but I think I got the answer in the second half. Please correct me if I am wrong. The take-home lesson was wrong. So my first question was that why is it that why do we need such a long and tough training to see God? That was my question during the first half, the 12 years, various yogas, bhakti yoga, last one. But in the second half you told me, and I believe in that yes, we see God through nature. I believe in God. So I think I got my answer. My second question was, during first half, that why do we need to please God if we are His? Our children, they don't need to please us. I mean, we do because that's our duty. I mean, because we own them. So they don't have to really put in effort to please us. But during the second half, I realized that whatever He wants from us is actually for our own good. I mean, He is not asking to glorify Him, it is just to increase our mental focus and mental strength.
It's a for the benefit. Krishna says, "O Arjuna, fight this war not as a benefit to you. You will be benefited if you follow dharma."
So, and the third question, which is again, I mean, the answer is the same, I think, that why do I have to put extra effort if I am doing my karma? I am a doctor and a mother, and I would like to devote my entire time doing these duties which has been assigned by Him. I mean, if I am doing that karma, then why do I need to go to temple, put in extra effort? I mean, take out my time rather than doing those duties, going and singing the aarti for Him. I mean, but I guess He doesn't want that either. He just wants me, as you said, to surrender to Him when I'm helpless, probably. And as you said, I think I can control things and I cannot.
So when we are doing those, we are that understanding comes to us. भगवान के बिहाफ में ये मेरे बच्चों को संभाल रहा हूँ, doing the work, not that I am the one who is deciding it. Usually this happens that the questions that come up are also answered subsequently during our sessions. So thank you. You can make the mic for it.
Prabhu, if God is omnipotent and is benevolent, why can't He make us do only the right thing always?
Right. God believes in freedom. God in life. What is the difference between a robot and a child? A life. Robot is programmed. So So when the robot comes to you and he says, I love you, do you really feel that there is love there? No, it's programmed. But God, because He is a conscious being, consciousness means He can choose this or not choose this. If you are, like when you all have to go to someone's wedding or some meeting, there is force there. There is must. So when there is a must, then there is no love there, usually. Love is always voluntary. That I could have done many other things, but I have chosen to be with this person. So therefore God, when He made us, He gave us minute freedom to choose. And when we misuse that freedom to choose, do the wrong things, then we come here to get corrected so we can go back. And many of the souls that are there with God in the spiritual worlds, they are all directly making the right choices. But some of us made the wrong choice, and it is part of the package. गलतियाँ करेंगे तो वो तो सीखेंगे. So we made the wrong choice. Now if we learn, then we will not make the wrong choice of not taking God out of the picture. What does ego mean? Ego means edging God out, removing God out of the world. So as soon as sun is not there, darkness overcomes. So God could have made us robotic, but He chose to make us conscious, sentient beings who can choose to love Him or not love, because true relationship is there when there is freedom in it and they voluntarily chosen to be with this person. वैलेंटाइन डे पे गोली के नोक पे नहीं बोल सकते ना तो मुझे प्रेम करो. वो प्रेम नहीं है, वो फोर्स है. और फोर्स में फिर दिल नहीं करता. तो जब बच्चा joke is there, when a 5-year-old kid tells his mother, I love you, the mother really feels love. But when a 15-year-old kid says, Mama, I love you, mother कहते दाल में काला है, क्योंकि ये इसको पैसा चाहिए. So when there is actual choosing to love and without any agenda, मुझे कुछ चाहिए इसके लिए नहीं, मंदिर क्यों जा रहे हैं, कुछ चाहिए इसके लिए, तो वो शास्त्र के हिसाब से वो भक्ति नहीं है, वो कुछ कर्मकांड नहीं है. You go to some minister, you go to God, and when you go to God because you love Him, then it is love. Even for children, when we raise them, they should not need us, but they should want us. अगर चिल्ड्रन को आप डिपेंडेंट बनाएंगे आपके ऊपर कि हर चीज के लिए आपका जरूरत पड़ेगा, that is not proper parenting. At the same time, you raise your children in such a way that they don't need you, but they will always want you. मेरे जीवन जीने के लिए उनका जरूरत नहीं खाना पकाने, बट मुझे मम्मी चाहिए क्योंकि प्रेम. इसी तरह भगवान हमारे जीवन के इसके लिए जरूरत नहीं है, लेकिन भगवान चाहिए मुझे क्योंकि उनसे प्रेम करता हूँ और ये सब उनके लिए करता हूँ. That's where love is there. But when there is force, then love disappears. Therefore, God has given us that choice. Therefore, end of Gita also Krishna says, Vitechasi tata kuru. Arjuna, I have taught this entire Gita, but I am not forcing you to follow it. You deliberate on it and then you do whatever you want to do. And because Krishna gives that freedom, he becomes more loving. जो हमको कंट्रोल करना चाहता है उससे प्रेम होता है? नहीं. जो हमको फ्री छोड़ता है उसके प्रति और लगाव बढ़ता है. अरे ये तो मुझे कंट्रोल तो नहीं कर रहा है. Krishna says, whatever you do, I will support you, but I am telling you what is good for you. So therefore, God gives us a freedom, and using that freedom to connect to Him is our only asset, only choice, good choice.
Now, this choice is only for human beings or for all the animals also?
All life forms. Gajendra lifted the lotus and offered to Krishna. So all life forms can do that, but the conscious, the awareness, कभी-कभी human being भी, if he is say mentally troubled or if he is in anesthesia, he is not in his senses. उसको पता ही नहीं क्या कर रहा है. But जब वो senses में उसको पता है कि मैं जो बोल रहा हूँ, he is aware that मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ. तो only human beings have that faculty to observe themselves. Other life forms don't have because they are dull consciousness. Their consciousness is not awakened to that state. But there are examples of Hanuman. Hanuman is not a typical monkey, he is a great Shiva's avatar, but still he came in the form of a monkey. Or so many, devoted cows in Vrindavan and other. So they all chose. So it's possible. Sometimes you see some temple, some cow comes to do pradakshina there, but उसको समझा नहीं सकते. उसका पूर्व ऐसा पुण्य है तो वो naturally inclined हो जाएगा. But we cannot change our consciousness usually for animals. Take the mic.
And doing here as a preventive activities. As a team, we are doing here pest control activities. Suppose catching of rat, killing of rats, mosquito control, then bedbugs control. My basic question is whether which type of karma is good karma or bad karma.
You have to fix. Once our Prabhupada was in a kitchen and there was a cock. Somebody brought this corporate one, heat. So he brought. So what is this? So this is to kill the cockroach. So Prabhupada said, first I should kill you, hit you. And then he explained, keep the kitchen so clean that cockroaches don't have to come and then you don't have to cook. But despite your efforts, if they come for the sake of larger interest, then I have to remove the beings. But be ready that the karma of that will come. कर्मा जो है ना वो आएगा कहीं जो कुछ भी करे. Therefore we have to be careful in the field of where we are doing some harm. You should be careful. Is there a better way to deal? Even this war, Krishna didn't want this war. He tried to avoid. But when nothing worked, then the last option was kill. So same with your free prevention. If you can prevent in other forms, otherwise this is the last way, then it is dharmic. Dharma is subjective. कि कौन सा परिस्थिति में कौन क्या कर रहा है. Arjuna is killing, it is dharma. Usually if you kill, it is adharma. But Arjuna is killing after all attempts to correct and contribute to the betterment of society. And therefore, and all that too he did under the guidance of Krishna. So if you are taking the call to kill, then it is your karma. But if you are getting an order, then it is their karma. So who is the one who is giving the order? He takes the main and everybody else becomes also involved in it. But main order किसने दिया उसको main punishment मिला. into Indian context, important question to like answer. Although we say we are not the body, we are Atma, we should understand we are not the body but we are in the body. We are not material but we are in the material. So when you are in the material world, when you are in the material body, you have to understand who is controlling the material world in the material body. आत्मा तो भगवान का है, शरीर इस दुनिया का है, और ये जो भौतिक प्रकृति है, this is controlled by many of Krishna's powerful agents. और अगर हम इस शरीर का कोई अंग के प्रति कष्ट है या एस्पेक्ट में कष्ट है, फैमिली हो, फाइनेंस हो, then all these beings come into picture. So either we individually try to address, go to the finance and try to clarify that Kubera is there, Surya is there, or another is go to the Prime Minister and register complaint. He will do the needful. वो ऑर्डर पास करेंगे भाई इसका सारे समस्या क्लियर. So one is a इंडिविजुअल, हम हमारे हिसाब से समस्याओं को एड्रेस करने हैं, which is not wrong, but how many gods will you please? Because हर एक बॉडी का अंग का एक देवता है, हर एक एस्पेक्ट ऑफ लाइफ का एक देवता है, बस सबको एक एक क्षेत्र ही है. लेकिन कृष्ण जो है, जगन्नाथ जो है, वो सभी के अधीन है. And many people worship Shiva because Shiva is in charge of all the devatas. जो भी मेटीरियल है, शिव जी सबके अधीन है, इसलिए उनको महादेव बोलते हैं. Therefore you worship Shiva instead of worshiping all the devatas. But then Shiva can also not give access to the spiritual realm. मुक्ति प्रदाता सर्वेशा विष्णु आराधते. मुक्ति के अलावा बाकी सब देवताएं देंगे, लेकिन अगर मुक्ति चाहिए, इस दुनिया से जाके चाहिए, तो वो खुद इधर इस दुनिया में है, तो आपको दूसरी दुनिया में कैसे भेज सकते? And they are there not because they are not karmically involved. No, वो लोग सेवा के लिए इधर आए हैं. विष्णु ही शिव बन के आते हैं, तो सेवा के लिए आए हैं. लेकिन वो उधर का जुरिस्डिक्शन उनका नहीं है. जैसे वेस्टर्न नेवल कमांडर है, उनको बोलेंगे आप मुझे ईस्टर्न नेवल कमांड में भेजो, बोलेंगे भाई मेरे पास वो नहीं, आपको प्रेसिडेंट के पास जाना पड़ेगा, सेंट्रल कमांड कुछ है ना, उधर जाना पड़ेगा. सो यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड द हमारे जो वैदिक आर्किटेक्चर जो है ना देवताओं का, वो समझेंगे तो बिल्डर नहीं होगा. एंड एस्ट्रोलॉजी also plays a role because astrology is connected to different aspects. But wise way is सर्वधर्मान परित्यज्य माम एकम शरणं. कि ये सब तो करूँगा, लेकिन बेस्ट है कि भगवान के पास भी अर्जी डालो, उनके प्रति डिपेंडेंट हो. और जैसे वो साधु ने किया, जितना मेरे इंटेलिजेंस से मैं फिगर आउट कर सकता हूँ, सॉल्व कर सकता हूँ, वो भी करता हूँ. बट अल्टीमेटली कृष्ण कैन ओनली हेल्प अस. Okay? Yes.
I think this is a lame question probably you want to ask. I'm a vegetarian since childhood. And
Rare. The part of the world you are coming from is from Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh is highest contribution.
One thing is from my childhood, milk products. So we are very much into curd, milk, everything. But now seeing present scenarios, I felt I should convert into ghee because the animal
Can you get that milk? Can you get it?
because the animal cruelty and all. Because So which actually I feel it is part of animal cruelty and which we should avoid. But if you go to any temple, it is milk which is offered to the god. And even Shiva, people do milk they offer to Shiva also. So when we know that it is unethical where milk has been extracted, so is it right to consume dairy products and milk products and we offer it to God, or we should avoid them?
Very thoughtful question. And even we are, spiritual societies should also be thinking about this. That are we causing violence to the animals? Today we are giving you milk only and this is called as Haribol milk. This is our ISKCON's own brand. We also call this as Ahimsa milk. A2 milk, but more than A2 milk, it is called as, if you see here, you can see, you write Ahimsa A2, not just A2. A2 means from our Indian breeds, but here we have written Ahimsa A2, means ensuring that the animals are not cause violence, unnecessary violence. Because God, the way God has made life is a jivo jivasya jivan. One life form is food to another life. You cannot eat something which is not didn't carry life. मिट्टी खा सकते हैं? नहीं खा सकते. Everything is life only. From life to sustain, you have to take someone's life. That's how their design is there. But in that, you try to ensure that you don't cause violence. Like in fruit. Fruit is part of the tree, but when you pluck the fruit, is the tree dead? No. If you don't pluck the fruit is only anyway going to get spoiled. Therefore, you pluck the fruit. So even in vegetarian, there are levels of ahimsa. अगर कुछ गिरा हुआ खाते हैं, that is considered the highest. कि already पेड़ में गिरा दिया, पत्ता, वो खाने में zero कर दो. When you pluck a fruit, then there is no karma, but there is pain to the plant. वो क्यों उधर उगा रहा था? क्योंकि वो उसके लिए प्रोटीन था, उसके लिए रिसोर्स था. But after a while वो यूज नहीं कर पाए, वो भी सड़ जाता. So when you if you pluck a raw fruit, it has more karma. If you pluck a ripe fruit, it has less karma. So in this way, but when it comes to animals, you are ending the life of an animal. इसके लिए वेजिटेरियन में भी जब हम कोई पेड़ को पूरी तरह से उगाड़ देते हैं, तो उसमें ज्यादा करना है. कोई फल खाते इसके लिए सालों लोग यूजुअली फल खाते. But still, that plant is going to get rotten within 2-3 days. But when you kill an animal, it's going to survive for next 10-15 years and you're killing it. और ऐसा नहीं कि एक फल ले लिया इसी तरह से उसका एक हड्डी ले लिया. No, it's going to have pain and its nervous system is also so evolved. I had recently dental surgery. In fact, I have been having pain in my teeth while I am speaking. But when they were doing dental surgery, they gave me anesthesia. तो anesthesia दिया, तो जब वो कर रहे थे एक्टिविटी, I could bear it. मुझे anesthesia दिया नहीं दिया करना तो है, but without anesthesia, it was highly painful. So the amount of pain you cause someone, that much violence it is. So when anesthesia दिया, so then it is less pain. So less suffering for me and for the person who was doing it. So for plants, they don't have a nervous system to experience pain. They have very small But when you cut them, it is not the same as cutting a fish or a goat. So therefore, उसका consciousness जो level पे है, उसको उतना pain होगा. Therefore, when you take milk from cows, first of all, you are not troubling that the calf is fed and there is extra milk. तो दूध अगर नहीं निकालने हैं गाय से, that is also violence to the cow.
I understand that, but that is limited to only very few dairy farms.
So therefore, we should support such dairy farms. We should only take such from dairy farms.
It is practically not possible always.
Then avoid. Then avoid. अभी तो पनीर भी फेक आ रहा है, मतलब वो डेयरी से कनेक्टेड ही नहीं, दही भी फेक आ रहा है, वो पानी में यूरिया मिला के आपको बेच रहे हैं. So better verify your sources of food. So today we are giving you this. Any other question? Yes.
On the first day when we discussed about Manas, Buddhi, Ahankara and Atma, you mentioned that intellect is training and whether to decide what is right or wrong. At the same time, you also mentioned that Atma is something unchangeable. What is the exact role of Atma if you can train intellect in guiding what is right and what is wrong? Is it directly involved? If yes, then worldly how much we are able to train intellect and how much is Atma able to influence intellect and how quickly?
Very good. Atma is we, hum, guided into that Vasam Sujirana Yata Vihaya, Navani Virana Ro. Just as the body is changing different clothes, but our identity, who is me, is the same. So that soul, that spiritual being, who is experiencing life is the same person. But currently it is overwhelmed by the mind, by the intelligence, by the ahankara. The engine is supposed to drive the bogies. But if the bogie becomes too heavy on an uphill, or engine को शक्ति नहीं, what will happen? It will drag. The kids are supposed to be guided by the parents, but the kids are too adamant, and parents are weak to train them. So who will be guiding whom? बच्चे माता पिता को घुमाएंगे कि अब ये करना है, वो करना है, ये नहीं करना है. So ideal is Krishna guides the Atma, Paramatma guides the Atma, and Atma guides the Ahankar and intelligence. So it is like this. But currently, senses are driving us. The senses want to eat something. And then the mind, what does the mind do? Mind tries to say, ये मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है. Senses ने देख लिया गुलाब जामुन. And the mind will bring the memory, वो कितना मीठा है, ये particular shop में कितना अच्छा लगता है. And then there is the intelligence. Intelligence will try to justify why you should eat. Intelligence now has become servant of the mind and the senses. Instead of becoming the boss, it has become subjugated, captured. We had a prime minister who was called as the accidental prime minister. He is supposed to guide, but he is guided by some other person. So when you don't take charge, when Atma doesn't take charge and the others are weak, and why is Atma not taking charge? Because it does not have strength from Paramatma, it is not connected to Paramatma. उसने इतना उसका समय आत्मा ने उसका समय इतना मटेरियल चीजों में बिताया है कि उसका एनर्जी ड्रेन हो गया. जैसे मोबाइल है, कि मोबाइल को मैं जितना यूज करूँगा उतना वो ड्रेन हो जाएगा, बट 2-3 घंटा तो मुझे चार्ज करना पड़ेगा, तभी तो ये यूज कर सकता हूँ. So currently Atma is very weak because we are not charging the Atma. Therefore everything is dragging us. But when we charge the Atma with the Paramatma, फिर आत्मा इतना स्ट्रांग है, उसको बोलते हैं आत्मबल. You are so strong that you tell मुझे वो you are determined. Therefore a spiritually strong person is very determined. कुछ भी हो जाए, गुरु नापी विचारे, बड़े बड़े मुश्किलों में वो अपना रास्ते को बदलेगा, बिकॉज उसका आत्मा स्ट्रांग है. और जब आत्मा स्ट्रांग नहीं रहता है तो केवल हमारा माइंड ये सब नहीं, बाकी प्लैनेटरी इन्फ्लुएंसेस, भूत प्रेत, ये सब भी इफेक्ट करता है. फिर हम बाकी सब ये ताबीज ये सब लेते रहते हैं. बेस्ट इज टू मेक योर सोल स्ट्रांग बाय कनेक्टिंग टू गॉड. Then you can tell, here come that I want to tell you, you should do this way. So therefore you have to become strong spiritually. Your Atma is to by connecting to Paramatma. Then वो सब सुनेंगे. नहीं तो अभी क्या हुआ, रिवर्स हायरार्की हो गई. बच्चे माता पिता को ड्रैग कर रहे हैं, rather than parents guiding the children. Okay? We should use the mobile. The mobile should not use us. But when we become too obsessive or we are weak, then the mobile हमको खा लेता है, right? So that's why we should be careful. I should be the one who is using it, not being used.
Actually, I got one more question.
Yes.
There are many things that we do unknowingly, like when we speak about karma, and how does those things having done unknowingly being affected by the past karma, and how does it affect future karma, and does it affect equally having been done it unknowingly?
Till the age of 10, there is some concession with karma, according to scriptures. But they are still under the guidance of parents. तो बच्चे को जो कुछ भी गलती करते हैं वो माता पिता को लेते हैं एज ऑफ 10. But once they start to become aware, then they are making their choices. Then it is their karma. And in terms of मैं जान के किया अनजाने में किया, according to the Gita, we are supposed to know the laws before we enter the gate. आप लोकल ट्रेन में गए, एसी ट्रेन आ गया, बैठ गए, टीसी आया, टिकट पूछे तो सेकंड क्लास टिकट का दिखा दिया 15 रुपए का, बोले 500 रुपए फाइन. अरे मुझे पता नहीं, किसने बताया नहीं. When you are entering the station, you are bound to know what are the rules of the station. Therefore, ignorance of the law of karma is not an excuse. But there is once or twice when you do, you are late. अभी बॉम्बे आए हैं तो फिर चलता है, लेकिन 5 साल से ट्रेन में घूम रहे हैं और अभी भी बोलेंगे मैंने ट्रेन का रूल्स पता नहीं. So therefore, intention is also checked in karma. कि ये जानबूझ के किया है कि कभी प्रयास ही नहीं किया. इसके लिए बोलते हैं those who are धार्मिक, वो जब गलती करते हैं उनको ज्यादा पनिशमेंट मिलती है. जो अधार्मिक है वो जब गलती करते हैं तो उनको कंपोज वो उसको जानता ही नहीं है. That doesn't mean better not know the rules only. So when you attend Bhagwat Gita session, then you become more responsible. Now you are bound to know. और वो भी नहीं, मनुष्य जीवन में ही जैसे आए, we are supposed to know. अतः तो ब्रह्म जिज्ञासा, शास्त्र बोले, वे मनुष्य जीवन मिला है, आपको जानना चाहिए. जैसे दिल्ली में आए तो बोलेंगे मेरे को पता नहीं था एरिया में नहीं जा सकते. ये बंदूक नहीं उठा सकते. No, you are convicted. Okay? So ignorance is not an excuse. We'll conclude. So more question. Any one last question? We'll just last question.
So it was in regard to the same question which ma'am asked. I mean, what I would like to I would humbly submit rather कि
Last question.
हम कहते हैं भगवान एक ही है.
ऊपर करो.
So God is one. चाहे हम उसे कृष्णा के रूप में याद करें, चाहे हम उसे शिवा के रूप में याद करें, या हनुमान चालीसा पढ़ें. The ultimate aim is to connect with Him and to surrender to Him. In fact, Hindu dharma नहीं, I mean, Christians when they are reading their verses or Muslims वो अज़ान पढ़ रहे हैं या Sikhs जो भी करते हैं. So, I mean, is it necessary to chant only this mantra?
No. When you speak about divinity, spirituality, it has many levels and many aspects. जैसे, no, when you say about India, I want to go to India. Is India one place? It's one place, but it has so much variety and aspects. If you land in Punjab, culture, everything is different. If you land, so therefore there is something called as rasa. Rasa means your own mellow or relationship which you develop with God. And as you practice spirituality, dharma, you start to develop that mellow rasa, even with Krishna or with any of the higher beings. So there is something called as shantaras, where it is about peace. In connection with God, you experience peace. There are many rasas. Therefore, spirituality is not the one point where you reach. Therefore, is this Krishna, is this Shiva? It's a whole architecture, it's a whole, and each one has different qualities. And when we speak of Shiva or Krishna, it's not a material aspect in which we are, tend to think. Ye alag hai, wo alag hai. There is something called as Achintya Veda. God is one, but in many forms and at many levels, based on what you are attracted and what way you are trying to connect. एक ही भगवान अलग अलग रूप में, जैसे हम सब भी भगवान के अंश हैं. So we are all parts of God. So therefore, when we talk about Krishna, we are talking about not just this Krishna who is having the fruit in his hand. Therefore, fruit पहना तो कृष्ण है, सांप पहना तो शिव है. What we try to understand in the visual is a very material way of understanding. Therefore, Saguna Nirguna Chokal discussion हुआ था. It's a very deep that the spiritual aspects of God takes a lot of time for us to get there. It's like somebody who has not even come to Bombay is asking what is the difference between Colaba Point and NOFRA. पहले बॉम्बे तो फिर बाद में खुद को पता चलेगा कौन सा. So first is we start to practice levels of dharma, and whatever you do, try to do it in connection to scriptures. मैं जो भी फॉलो कर रहा हूँ ये स्क्रिप्चुरली कहाँ पे बताया है. शास्त्र में है कि बस मेरी मनगढ़ंत चीज कर रहा हूँ. Because if you are doing according to your mind, you may not get benefit. So we are teaching what is there in the Gita, and every other path which are there, they have a correlation. We have it's called as sampradaya. एक भगवान से मैसेज आता है. So when we talk about this महामंत्र, ये एक उपनिषद में दिया गया है. कली संत उपनिषद होते हैं. इति षोडश का नाम कली कल्मषनाशनम नातो परतरोपायो सर्व वेदेषु दृश्यते. Brahma is telling Narada कि ये जो 16 अक्षर का महामंत्र जो है ये कली का कलमश निकालने में सबसे बेस्ट है. He doesn't say only. Other religions say only. We don't say only. We say there are many. Just like when you go to doctor. Doctor will prescribe a medicine. आपने पूछेंगे ना यही दवाई क्यों? उधर तो दुकान में तो बहुत सारा दवाई मैं कुछ भी लेके खाऊंगा. Although there are many medicines in the store, doctor knowing our situation say ये दवाई लो है तो जल्दी ठीक होगा. Same there are many mantras, but the Upanishads, especially Brahma was the creator of the material. He told Narada, and Narada was very anxious कि कलयुग के लोगों को कैसे उद्धार करेगा. So he said, all the Vedas, Sarva Vedeshu Drishate, all the Vedas are telling that for the Kali Yuga, this Mahamantra is the most potent and powerful. Why it is most potent and powerful? It has both aspects of God, feminine and masculine. Krishna भी है, Radha भी है. Hare means Lakshmi. Usually most mantras either it is masculine or feminine. दोनों मिलके आपको कोई मंत्र नहीं मिलेगा. So when therefore there are reasons why this Mahamantra has been suggested as the most powerful. So if you want to get benefited, we experiment. बाकी मना नहीं करो. तो ये इसे ट्राई करो. बाकी आपको रसा लग आ रहा है भगवान के सामने वो कीजिए. Because ultimately it's about rasa, it's about experience.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for having spared your time. I did not mention this on the day one. He had undergone a dental surgery, and all 3 days he's been speaking to us after addressing himself with the painkillers. In fact, before every lecture he has to have like this 8 milk that is help him